Hello and welcome to the Citi Newsroom from our studios at number 5 Owola Hanson Lane at Teshie here in Accra. My name is Vivian Kai. Local coming up. JUSAG suspends strike after meeting with the government.
In view of the commitment from the government of Ghana, JUSAG in consultation with Senior Staff Association, SAGU, and other relevant stakeholders hereby resolve to suspend the ongoing strike for a period of 2 weeks ending on the 12th June 2023.
Also coming up, Authors and Publishers Association apologize for misleading textbook as NACA calls for immediate withdrawal.
We accept in good faith the criticism of all stakeholders and render unqualified apology to the Ministry of Education, the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, Ghanaian Schools, Nananom, the Christian Council of Ghana, and any Ghanaian who might find these statements quite misleading.
Also coming up, Interior Minister urges police to swiftly apprehend perpetrators of attack on immigration officers in Bawku.
I urge the Ghana Police Service to expedite efforts in the investigation to bring the perpetrators to the crime to book. On this note, I congratulate the newly promoted officers and reiterate government's commitment to resource the Ghana Immigration Service to perform its legal mandate.
And later, Lojikuku Municipal Assembly commences rehabilitation of inner roads in Teshie following agitations from residents over bad roads.
The problem of our roads is on the way to being solved. We have the solution. We are asking for patience and public cooperation. We expect that over the next 6 months, significant work will be done on these roads to ensure their completion.
Let's bring you details of our stories. And the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, JUSAG, has suspended its strike following a meeting with the government over their conditions of service. Now, JUSAG last week, Thursday, May 25th, embarked on an indefinite strike to demand the approval of a new and improved salary structure for its members for 2023 and 2024. Now, the strike has been suspended for 2 weeks to allow for negotiations and make the necessary arrangements for payment of the reviewed salaries and allowances due JUSAG members. We have more in this report filed by Citi News' Anne Shirley Zero.
Courtrooms across Ghana were left empty on Monday, May 29, as members of the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana's strike entered day 3. JUSAG last week, Thursday, May 25, embarked on an indefinite strike to demand the approval of a new and improved salary structure for its members for 2023 and 2024. This brought justice delivery to a standstill. The strike by the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana has entered day 3, and we are here at the Law Court Complex to see how that is panning out. I've been able to interact with a security personnel here who has been telling me that some clients have been coming in, but they've been turning them away, telling them that there's a strike ongoing. They also did mention that in the first and second day of the strike, they had judges and lawyers coming in. But for today, which is day 3, there's no judge here yet, and there's no lawyer as well. And then the clients have been just like 1 or 2, and they've told them to go home because there's a strike ongoing. We'll check other courts buildings around the capital to see how the strike is also going in those sites. The atmosphere was not different at the premises and office of the Supreme Court. the Teshie Circuit Court and Ijabin Circuit Court. The usual bars which characterize these court buildings were missing, as their registry were empty, as well as their car parks. However, after hours of a meeting between JUSAG and government, represented by the Office of the President, Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, the strike was suspended. The strike was suspended to allow for negotiation processes to begin between the two parties. President of JUSAG, Samuel Afote Otu, spoke after the meeting and called on their members to immediately return to work.
In view of the commitment from the government of Ghana, JUSAG, in consultation with Senior Staff Association, SAGU, and other relevant stakeholders, hereby resolved to suspend the ongoing strike for a period of 2 weeks ending on the 12th June 2023. Staff are to report to work tomorrow, Tuesday, 30th May 2023, to carry out their normal duties. We wish to inform the government that JUSAG shall not be able to entertain any undue delay beyond the timelines given. The processes for the approval of the new salaries must complete and payment made to staff in the month of June 2023. The ongoing strike be suspended for 2 weeks to pave way for engagement among parties in order to fast-track the consideration, approval, and payment of the new salaries in the month of June 2023.
They also called on government to show the needed commitment in the negotiation process or risk them returning to the strike.
The strike is only suspended but not called off. If government does not show the needed commitment, we shall advise ourselves. We wish to express our appreciation to the acting Chief Justice, the incoming Chief Justice, the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, and all stakeholders for their intervention.
To some other stories, and the Pensioner Bondholders Forum is set to resume picketing at the Finance Ministry on June 1st, 2023. After a week of protests, the pensioners suspended the picketing following a meeting with the Finance Ministry where government pledged to pay all outstanding coupons with a promise to engage on a pathway for the payment of principals. Now, according to the group, the government has failed to keep its promise, hence the decision to resume picketing. Charles Owusu-Kumi has the rest of the story.
3 weeks ago, the Pensioner Bondholders Forum began picketing again at the Finance Ministry. This time, they were demanding for the payment of all the outstanding coupons and principals. On the last day of the picketing protest, the Finance Ministry convened a meeting where they invited leadership of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. In that meeting, government promised that it was going to pay all the outstanding coupons, but for the principals, government needed more time to have discussions around the principles. So the Pensioner Bondholders Forum, they suspended this picketing, knowing that government was going to pay all these outstanding coupons, including coupons that matured on the 15th of May. But we're getting indication that on Thursday, 1st June, the pensioners are going back to picketing at the Finance Ministry. So we asked Dr. Eduana Nyentri, the convener for the group, why they are going back to picketing.
Week starting 15th, the ministry started paying all the coupons. But we had also written to the ministry that we wanted to meet them that week and finalize whatever agreement we have to reach with them on the payment of the coupons or the principal. So we gave the ministry up to 19th to try and let us have that. We didn't receive any response from the ministry. The ministry didn't invite us to the meeting. Then the week ended. Then the next week, which was 22nd, we realized that the ministry hadn't paid 2 of the coupons, which was the ones due on 15th, as promised that they were going to pay all up to 15th. They haven't paid. And they haven't also invited us to do the discussion on the principal. So we wrote another letter on the 22nd to the ministry. And on the 22nd, another coupon also was due. So the coupons has become 3. They will say they should pay the 3 coupons outstanding immediately, and they should engage us on the principals that week. We gave another week, ending 29th, and said if they don't do those things, then we will resume the picketing. We've waited. 29th has come last Friday. We haven't heard anything at all from the ministry. The 3 coupons that are still remaining unpaid, nothing has been said about that. It's not being paid. The meeting to decide on how to pay the principals has also not been called. They haven't called anybody. They haven't even responded to the letters that we have written. I will say, well, we should have even resumed the picketing last week because we said if we don't, we are going back. We stopped because we said we are going to do this. That is why we suspended. So we have informed the police that if it doesn't work, we'll come back. So we wrote to the ministry, the police last Friday, that we will be resuming the picketing from Thursday.
Dr. Duana Nyantwi also expressed disappointment about government's attitude towards the pensioners.
I don't understand why, you see, people, if we are in authority, at least we are there because of human beings. And courtesy demands that when people have written you a letter, no matter how it is, just respond. Tell them, I've received your letter and I'm working on it. Simple, just a letter. You know, so because if somebody wastes his time to write to you and you don't respond, then you ask yourself, is it that you think you are not supposed to respond, or you are too busy that you can't respond, or you think that this is not necessary?
On Thursday, June 1, the Pensioner Bondholders Forum will be gathering again at the Finance Ministry from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., hoping that this protest will force government's hand to pay these 4 outstanding coupons and also provide a pathway to the settlement of the 4 outstanding principals. For Citi News, my name is Charles Osukumi.
Now, the Jokuku Municipal Assembly has announced the immediate commencement of rehabilitation works on several inner roads in Teshie. The Assembly says inner roads in Triblo, Lekman to Ajoman Roundabout, Fertilizer Road and Kinkote Road will be rehabilitated immediately. This report has more.
Residents of Teshie can now heave a sigh of relief following the announcement of the immediate rehabilitation works on their inner roads. The announcement made by the Municipal Chief Executive of Lejukuku, Mordecai Kwashi, comes on the back of concerns raised by residents about the deteriorating conditions as they experience damage to their vehicles.
Our roads there are so bad. So bad, I don't know what to compare. Very bad. Our roads in here. Oh, this is me betu cow. Me who baby amefa. Ube to top to smooth sa bra. Oh, so bad. We are now oko mechanic shop. Me fuck keep na me journey baby amefa. So bad. Ti yesemo a mo hwe na mo nye bibi fa Teshie kwa ho. Teshie kwa nyina mako grade state. Awoko dey poto. Enya kra.
We need the road to be fixed. All we are asking for is the road to be fixed. I have visited workshop to change my links 2 times in one single month. So you can see what we are going through as residents. And you know what is surprising is that residents in Greater Estate, we are an organized estate. We pay our property rate, we pay business operating permit, and any basic rate we pay. So why are we not getting what we should get? Just common road. Just recently, Kumewu, within 2 weeks, roads have been fixed over there. And over here, we have been neglected. It's like a cemetery. It is the portals are even more than Galamsey site. It's so appalling. Master, we need the road to be fixed.
Expressing confidence in the timely completion of these roadworks during a media briefing, the Municipal Chief Executive, Mordecai Kwashi, outlined the roads that will be rehabilitated.
Government has heard our voice and work has progressed on the road. These roads are all going to be asphalted from Ajoman Roundabout right here all the way through to Lekman Hospital will be asphalted. From Ajoman Roundabout to First Junction will be asphalted. From Manfi Junction to Yomo Specs on the Kinkote Street. It will also be asphalted. Then from Port all the way to Tribula last stop, that road will also be asphalted. These are the 4 immediate ones that are going to be done. I have a long list of the roads that are also going to be handled. Let me read them for you. Coffee Street, Estate Junction to Cactus Street. Obedekan Road, Chuenshi Market to La Scala. A Street, Greater Estate. 3rd Avenue, Greater Estate. 3rd Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. Ford Road, Fertilizer Road. Mana Mission Road, Tribula to SDA. All these roads are coming under construction. We are redoing the surfaces of all these roads in this current project.
The Assembly, however, called for cooperation among residents as it resolves to begin the construction of all inner roads in the Teshie community.
We expect that over the next 6 months, significant work will be done on these roads to ensure their completion. Ladies and gentlemen, our roads problem, the problem of our roads is on the way to being solved. We have the solution. We are asking for patience and public cooperation as the government refocuses on development. Now that the IMF issues are over and the scourge of the COVID-19 pandemic is also over, we need your cooperation and focus so that we get to work developing the country.
Meanwhile, residents of the Assembly have told Citi News they will go ahead with their demonstration against the bad roads.
So we all know the nature of the roads in Teshie. We have bad roads. The roads are all our roads in Teshie are in deplorable state. And then we've been crying to the government for so long, but they are not responding. So tomorrow we'll be hitting the street. It's a peaceful demonstration. Let the government know that enough is enough. We want our roads to be fixed for us. The time will be converging. Will be at 5 a.m. in the morning, and it will be at Teshie Ajama runabout. That's where we'll be converging from. Yes, we'll be submitting petition to key stakeholders tomorrow. We'll be submitting one to the Teshie Uglanyamante, the first, which we all know is going to be Nimate original. So we'll submit one petition to him at Teshie Grammar School. We'll submit a petition to the MP, a member of Parliament, Honorable Benjamin Aiku, and then we'll submit a petition to the Traditional Council, and then we'll also submit a petition to the MC.
Now, the Ghana National Association of Authors and Publishers has apologized to the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, NACA, the Ministry of Education, and the general public. The apology comes in response to the widespread condemnation of the contents of a publication intended for primary 4 pupils, which many have described as misleading. Consequently, NACA has called for the immediate withdrawal of the controversial textbook titled Indicting Christianity. Our correspondent in the Ashanti region, Fatih Aminu Ibrahim, brings us more in this report.
Parents and various stakeholders have expressed deep disappointment regarding a section in the History of Ghana textbook published by Excellence Publications. They have rightly pointed out that this particular section, which focuses on the negative effects of Christianity, is misleading. Deputy Education Minister Reverend Intim Fojo, who shares the sentiment of dissatisfaction with the content, has described the claims made in the book as obnoxious. The public uproar surrounding this issue has compelled the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment to direct the publishers to immediately recall the textbook from the market. This recall is essential to conduct further checks and ensure that the concerns raised by the public are appropriately addressed. In an effort to alleviate public concerns, the Ghana National Association of Authors and Publishers extends an unqualified apology to the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment and all relevant stakeholders who have expressed their legitimate concerns about the publication. John Akwesiam Ponsa, The national president of the association has addressed the media in Kumasi to address this matter and provide an update.
We accept in good faith the criticism of all stakeholders and render unqualified apology to the Ministry of Education, the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, Ghanaian Schools, Nananom, the Christian Council of Ghana, and any Ghanaian who might find these statements quite misleading for their children in the classroom.
The association openly acknowledges the oversight on the part of the publisher and is taking proactive measures to prevent a similar occurrence in the future.
We admit in part to the error of adherence to content requirements and the suitability of content for the level for which it was intended. The authors, we admit, should have remained faithful to the demands of the syllabus and stress the impact of Christian missionaries rather than touching on religion as if that was the topic in generality.
To achieve this, the association is establishing a committee dedicated to thoroughly evaluating all books currently available in the markets and schools, particularly those published by its members.
The Ghana National Association of Authors and Publishers resolve henceforth to introduce an internal assessment committee to ensure adherence to standards, curriculum, and best international practices.
For parents in particular who have expressed concerns over the content of the said publication, they want relevant authorities to scrutinize various textbooks that have been approved for use in order to ensure that such issue does not recur. For Citi News, Fatih Amin Ibrahim, Kumasi.
Now, the Minister of Interior, Ambrose Derry, has called on the Ghana Police Service to expedite investigations and bring perpetrators of an attack on immigration officers at Bawku to book. Now, Chief Director at the Ministry of Interior, who represented the sector minister at a ceremony to honor 4 immigration officers for rescuing their colleagues during the attack, also expressed the government's commitment in retooling the immigration service to discharge their mandate. We have more in this report by Citi News' Daniel Sakite and read to you by Anne Shelley Ziu.
Bawku in recent times has been a hotbed for protracted conflicts, which has led to heightened security concerns in the area. This has led government to deploy members of the various security agencies to the township to deal with the challenges. On April 3, unknown gunmen attacked 3 immigration officers in Bawku as their vehicle was shot at. The shooting incident resulted in the death of 42-year-old immigration officer, Assistant Inspector Philip Mote.
In the evening of 3rd April 2023, at about 1951 hours, Chief Superintendent Michael Breu Ampofu received a distress call from Assistant Inspector Eric Afari, one of the officers who came under attack. He only said, "Sir, we have been shot. Come and pick us." Apparently, unknown gunmen had fired several shots at their vehicle, killing Assistant Inspector Philip Mote.
The rescue operation by the 4 immigration officers, after receiving the distress call, resulted in 2 lives being saved. At a ceremony to honor the immigration officers for their intervention, the Chief Director at the Ministry of Interior, Adelaide Ano Kumi, on behalf of the sector minister, commended the immigration officers for their bravery while calling on the police to bring perpetrators of the crime to book.
Collaboration among security agencies was highly exhibited during this crisis. We should continue to be each other's keeper and support, and continue to exhibit the camaraderie spirit. Let us work collaboratively for the benefit of our country, Ghana. Furthermore, I urge the Ghana Police Service to expedite efforts in the investigation to bring the perpetrators to the crime to book. On this note, I congratulate the newly promoted officers and reiterate government's commitment to resource the Ghana Immigration Service to perform its legal mandate.
The Controller General of the Immigration Service, Teshie, also speaking at the event, indicated that the 4 immigration officers have been promoted to their next ranks. He further criticized attacks on security personnel.
With the approval of the Governing Council and the management of the service, we are promoting these brave and gallant men to their next ranks as a matter of honor to them. And the way of encouraging more of such selfless intervention in the face of danger. Crimes are enemies of our collective peace, our prosperity, and the territorial sanctity of this country. The worst sin that can be committed against any state is the killing of the very men and women who have dedicated their lives in fighting crimes and protecting them. I will therefore use this opportunity to call on all parties to the ongoing conflict in Bawku to reconsider who their true enemy is.
Meanwhile, one of the promoted immigration officers, Assistant Commissioner of Immigration, Michael Brewu Ampofu, who was in the heart of the rescue operation of their colleague who was attacked, in an interview with the media said the new promotion brings to them additional responsibility.
The award given us, I will not say is an award, but I'll crave your indulgence to say that it is an additional responsibility to some of us, because day in, day out, as well as when we are promoted from one rank to the other, it is an additional responsibility which is a paradigm shift in your behavior, your operations, your attitude towards work, how you respond to such calls.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom with me, Vivian Kailoko. When we come back, Member of Parliament for North Tong, Samuel Kojetwa Blackwood, describes as insensitive and unacceptable government's decision to maintain the COVID-19 health levy. To stay with us, we'll be back with our story and many others.
It does get better anytime your favorite shop, Malcolm, says it's there for you and got you covered with all your daily need items. Continue shopping on products ranging from groceries, stationery, electronics, homeware, kitchenware, furniture, home decor, electrical, and many more at low prices. Terms and conditions apply. Malcolm, where Ghana shops.
Mido, you're not Biana. I'm going to you have a swing every time I just say, baby, shit. Mangashi.
Junior! I'm saying so now for me, do you know?
Sister Cospa, it's a winning gas.
I'm using the why. Why?
Down Yankanawa.
Sister Cos. Use gas. Gas here fast, and ye easy, and ye convenient.
Let me see your hand.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up. and thrive at every stage of her life? With a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
Yeah, welcome back to the City Newsroom. Now, Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Kujetu Ablakwa, has described as insensitive and unacceptable the government's decision to maintain the COVID-19 health levy. The President, in his 29th COVID-19 update, said COVID-19 levy will continue to be in place despite calls for its removal. The business community and other stakeholders have in times past called for the scrapping of the 1% levy, citing dire financial consequences on their businesses.
The COVID-19 Health Recovery Levy was introduced during the peak of the coronavirus pandemic in 2021, when a significant number of people had contracted the virus, resulting in numerous deaths. The primary objective of implementing this special levy was to generate revenue to support the provision of healthcare goods and services, as well as cover other COVID-19 related expenses. During that time, the government implemented various measures such as providing food, electricity and water to mitigate the devastating effects of the pandemic on citizens. However, in order to recover the cost incurred, several levies were imposed despite opposition from various stakeholders. Although all restrictions imposed to manage the pandemic have been lifted, the hopes of abolishing the levy were not fulfilled. During the President's 29th update, the President was very emphatic. He says that the COVID-19 Health Recovery Levy was going to be maintained. This, however, was greeted with a lot of resistance by some stakeholders. Okujeto Ablakwa is the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, and he says that this decision by the President is harsh and insensitive.
It's marks of bad faith and insincerity for President Akufo-Addo to lift all restrictions and indicate that we are back to the pre-COVID era. And yet, what has been a defining feature for the COVID era, which is the COVID-19 levy, the President did not announce that that tax handle will be abolished. That is the height of insensitivity. It is totally unacceptable. You do not tell us that you are introducing the COVID-19 levy to help manage COVID. Now COVID is over and you are maintaining it. So we are seeing a president and a government that doesn't keep its word, it's not sincere, cannot be trusted, and even more worrying, does not appear to be conscious about the plight of Ghanaians, the business community, and the entire country.
Also delivering his address, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, debunked all claims and assertions indicating that his government benefited from the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, this comment has also not been taken up well by the Member of Parliament for North Tongue.
If you read the IMF country report on Ghana, the IMF insists that they ask for the COVID-19 audit as a prior action, or if you like, as a conditionality. Just read page 22 of the country report. Now the President is claiming that the audit was done at his instigation. So who do we believe? Both cannot be speaking the truth. And if you look at the President's track record, I am inclined to believe the IMF.
Meanwhile, the business community is expressing dissatisfaction with the government's decision. Samson Asakia Wingobet, the Executive Director for the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, highlights that many businesses are still struggling under the burden of this levy.
It's a huge one COVID payment can take the transport to transport his goods to him in Accra or to the industrial area for him to be able to pay for transportation. And so if someone is clearing 100 containers, you can imagine how much that person is going to pay. Become a cost component for the as part of the cost of doing business in our port. And I have said that, look, as we sit here, people who import to Ivory Coast and Lome do not spend, not overstretched like the one who import through Port here. And that is why the reality is done on us. And if government think that the only way to go is to always compound with Ghanaians with so much taxes and stuff like that,
citizens will continue to pay the 1% COVID-19 health recovery levy, which was instituted by government in 2021, despite calls for government to scrap the levy. Reporting for Citi News, my name is Kweku Ediamansa.
Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, has commenced a week-long revenue mobilization campaign to recover outstanding debts. Now, this initiative represents the company's second aggressive attempt to recoup debts, as it fell short of its initial target of 5 billion cedis during the previous exercise. Our reporter Fred Juho brings us more details in this report.
Accompanied by the General Manager of the Accra West Region, a board member of the Electricity Company of Ghana participated in the week-long revenue mobilization campaign, which began on Monday, moving from one debtor to another. The team engaged with customers to determine the outstanding account balances owed to the power distributor. The team visited various establishments, including the Ghana National Risk and Compliance Center of the Ghana Standards Authority, in Reach, the Management Development Planning Institute, and Busy Internet. Following discussions with the management of each organization, Colin Bushidid, a board member of ECG, expressed optimism regarding the objective of the one-week exercise.
We had an opportunity to check their last payments that they had made and found that everything was in order, which is good. Here too, we have the commitment of the customer to make payments, up-to-date payments, and this exercise is a week-long exercise this time, and so we'll be back. Our teams will be back to check that payments have been made, and we actually encourage all customers to make payments when they should. Disconnection is a last option. It is not something that the company wants to engage in, and therefore we would like customers to honor their commitments for the electricity that they've used, and our teams will be engaging with them and finding out the payments that they've made, and will not just be going around disconnecting for the sake of disconnection. We want you to be using the electricity, but we also need you to be paying for the electricity.
During the previous 2020 revenue mobilization campaign, the ECG aimed to recoup approximately 5.4 billion Ghana cedis from its customers, but fell short by about 2.3 billion cedis. While the current one-week exercise does not have specific revenue targets, the ECG aims to recover all outstanding debts, including recent bills. According to sources, the provisions of the International Monetary Fund have placed state institutions like the ECG in a challenging situation to recover revenue in order to sustain their operations and settle debts owed to independent power producers.
Generally, officials from ECG, right from the board members, are on the field with other staff to mobilize revenue from customers in order to keep the company afloat. As it stands now, the company equally owes some huge debt from power producers, and that is affecting its operations. Hence, they are believing to recoup every time any customer or the Electricity Company of Ghana. My name is Fred Duho, reporting for Citi News.
Let's do some politics. NPP flag bearer hopeful Dr. Owusu Akoto has discredited polls that put his contenders ahead of him. He made this known while receiving the nomination forms at his campaign office, which was picked on his behalf by members of his campaign team. Now, addressing the press, Dr. Owusu Akoto asked his followers to ignore such polls. We have more in this report.
Monday marked the second working day since the party opened nominations for persons who are interested in contesting in the presidential primaries. Dr. Owusu Akoto's team were the only ones on Monday to pick the forms. He joins four others, Boache Jakon, Kwabni Japan, Adenimo and Dr. Kofi Apreku, who picked their forms on Friday. The support group for Dr. Bawumia, who attempted picking the form on his behalf on Friday, were however denied from doing so as they had no accreditation. The form was picked for Dr. Akoto by some of his campaign team members, accompanied by some supporters. The campaign team who picked the form on his behalf revealed that some farmers and delegates across the country who believed in the cause paid the 50,000 filing fee.
Farmers across the country indicated interest to do this, and he did not deny them the opportunity. Delegates as well and friends came together to pool resources as a sign of love and support for him, to say they are for him and they want to encourage him to contest.
The team later presented the form to Dr. Owusu Akoto at his campaign office.
You are the hope and the compromise candidates for the New Patriotic Party.
Later, Dr. Akoto assured his followers of his chances of winning the presidential primaries.
And I can assure you, I won't let you down. All right. I won't let you down. We are going to campaign around the country to sell our message for the resuscitation of the MPP as a party. The morale is down, and we are going to raise the morale to face the NDC come next year, 2024.
He asked his supporters to disregard polls that put his contenders ahead of him.
I have never sponsored any poll. Yes. Find out who is sponsoring those polls. If I sponsor a poll, I bet you they will say that I'm first. But I won't, because it's self-defeating. It doesn't serve any purpose. We know what you are doing on the ground. So all the polls in the world can say whatever they want, but we are talking about the 900 people who be voted.
Dr. Akoto further urged his supporters to believe in his ability to use agriculture to change the practice of Ghana, always depending on loans.
The only sector which has the capacity to do that, and I'm the biggest witness because I've managed the agricultural sector for 6 years in this country, the past 6 years, is the only one with the resource to be able to generate foreign exchange, to finance our industrialization, our health, our education, our infrastructure, and our whole development. That is the only.
The party is still ready, waiting for persons who are interested to run for the flag bearer position to come forward and pick their nominations. What we are being told is that Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is expected to come on Tuesday and pick his nomination form because the persons who came on Friday were not accredited to do so on his behalf. The party is also expecting other flag bearer hopefuls to come in and pick their forms. Reporting for Citi News, Hansen Ajeman.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom with me, Vivian Kai Loco. When we come back. NPP members in the Ashanti region call on the government to fast-track processes for the commencement of work on the Suame interchange project. To stay with us, we'll be right back with a story.
Is the neighborhood I'm having my twins.
The very reason why I took it for us. See, the price is very good and it's spacious to contain all of us.
Alphabet City. Now I'm a landlord. I don't pay rent. And my Airbnb business is booming.
To me, family, bank and I'm not say Alphabet City. The pension pay me 20%. The payment plan, I want to share my just very smooth.
This is a healthy place to raise our families and creating peace. Come on, be my neighbor.
Alphabet City, the ABC of Home Sweet Home.
Alphabet City is a classy and peaceful gated community in Sakumono. We have 24/7 top-notch security and high-quality access roads. We have 3 bedrooms and 2 washrooms, 3 bedrooms and 3 washrooms with boys' quarters. We have 3 bedrooms and 4 washrooms. We have 2 bedrooms and 2 washrooms, all with beautiful kitchens and kitchenettes. Call Alphabet City on 0240-111119 or 050-44-99999. Alphabet City, the ABC of Home Sweet Home.
My name is Tina. I am a person living with HIV. I got to know my HIV status after I gave birth and lost the child because of HIV. In those days, prevention of mother-to-child transmission services had low patronage due to fear and stigmatization. Today, many HIV-positive women have delivered negative children. I follow the guidelines and take my HIV medicine called ARVs every day, as prescribed by my doctor. This makes me strong and healthy, and also prevent me from passing HIV onto any future child. Please avail yourself for PMTCT services when pregnant. It is the only way to ensure you do not pass the HIV onto your baby during birth or pregnancy. If you have tested for HIV recently and it was negative, test again when pregnant to ensure baby and mother are well. Let us work together to have an HIV-free generation.
A forest is made up of trees of various kinds. A great country like ours must be endowed with many trees. Last year was successful. Be part of this year's campaign on the 9th of June in planting 10 million tree seedlings nationwide under the theme Our Forest, Our Health. Seedlings will be made available at the Forestry Commission and other designated places nationwide. Let us preserve our forests. Green Ghana. Let's go planting. This campaign is proudly brought to you by the Government of Ghana under the auspices of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Forestry Commission, and supported by the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program, Ghana Forest Investment Program, Forest Plantation Development Fund.
And you're welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loko. Now, the New Patriotic Party executives in the Ashanti region, led by the party's regional chairman, Bernard Boisianko, has called on the government to fast-track processes for the commencement of work on the Suame interchange project. The executive said the Suame interchange project remains a major concern for the inhabitants of the Ashanti region, and the government should prioritize its construction and completion. Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Sujani reports.
After President Akufo-Addo cut sword for the commencement of work on the Suame interchange project, expectations among inhabitants in the Ashanti region heightened. Some 8 months after the sod was cut, work is yet to start at the site, and some residents Citi News recently spoke to expressed concerns about the delays.
I'm really disappointed because it's been a long time. I remember very well during President Kufuor's time. Okay, this project, they brought us to Paper Assembly Hall. They draw everything, the plan of this particular project, and we were hoping that it will not take some time. It will they will commission the program, project, and up to now it has not started. When President Akufo-Addo also came in power, he also promised every budget they do bring this particular project in. And they did promise us that with e-levy, they are going to construct this particular project, Angunaga and Oforukrum. And up to now, none of them.
What I think the government should do is that they should take things serious about projects like this. I think when it comes to Ashanti region, haven't they taken us for granted? That's how I feel. They have taken us for granted. So they come and then they cut the saw. They say they are going to do the project, and then they come up with different stories, and I don't even know, should I say they are lies? So I would say that they should take things serious when it comes to projects like this.
The leadership of the MPP in the Ashanti region shared similar concerns raised by the residents on the project. Ashanti Regional Chairman of the MPP, Bernard Enchibo-Siakun, addressing journalists in Kumasi, wants the government to speed up the process to start work on the project.
When the government cuts short or he commences a project and it delayed, it means that there is a possible cause. And that cause is the reason why the regional executives have conglomerated here to pray for the government and pray for Nana Akufo-Addo, for the Ashanti party and Ashanti region to have a favor for the commencement of interchange become the reality, not cutting short. That is why we are permitting His Excellency, the President of the Republic, that still the Ashanti region people are looking upon him. It's not that they are not going to vote. They have already voted for us, as it done in 2004, and as they also voted in 2016 and 2020.
The project comprises a 4-tier interchange at the current Suame runabout with overpasses at the Abrepo, Krofrom, Anumanje, Magazine New Road, and Ebusokurua junctions. The Suame Interchange project will be the first 4-tier interchange in the Ashanti region and the second in the country after the Pokwasi Interchange in the Greater Accra region.
The MPP regional executives say the government must ensure the Suame Interchange project becomes a reality. Hafiz Tijani, Citi News, Kumasi, Ashanti region.
Now, with high influx of patients or clients seeking treatment at the whole teaching hospital, there's an increased risk of contracting diseases due to the overuse of equipment and patient congestion within the accident and emergency unit of the hospital. In response to this situation, the unit's management has taken the step of converting certain areas of the facility into makeshift wards to accommodate more patients in need of emergency treatment. Our reporter Desmond Selassie Ago has more.
This is the accident and emergency unit at the Whole Teaching Hospital. On a monthly basis, patients and clients visit the unit seeking treatment for various ailments. While the unit currently has the capacity to accommodate about 20 inpatients at a time, the number of cases and inpatients has been steadily increasing. As a result, the authorities at the unit have made the decision to convert some nurses' office and the walkway within the emergency unit into spaces where additional beds can be placed, enabling them to cater for more patients. Health workers at the unit find themselves attending to patients in wheelchairs and beds, positioned at the entrance and in the walkways of the unit. Dr. Pleasance Ampim, the acting head of department at the Accident and Emergency Unit, acknowledged that this situation poses a threat to both patients and health workers within the unit.
Length of stay is about 2 to 3 days. At the emergency, our target is just 24 hours. But we're unable to achieve that because of the congestion and because of the space, the limited space that we have to be able to work. To be frank, our staff strength is on the low side. Because of that, there is burnout. The staffs are tired. And if you keep working for a long time, limited number of staff, seeing increasing number of patients, the side effect is that they are tired, and there is nothing you can do about it. And when patients are when staff is tired, they make mistakes. The problems are a lot. Our management is doing well, but the management also needs help from external sources to expand the hospital and also, the emergency unit, and also provide some of the things that we need. The staff strength issue also is of great concern to us.
Inadequate health personnel at the unit are adversely affecting service delivery, as staff members are burdened with excessive workloads. The emergency nurse specialist at the hospital highlights the issue, emphasizing the need for additional staffing to meet the demands of the unit.
The workload has tripled, yet we are using the same facility. So it's important, it's critical for all the stakeholders to come on board, to expand and to invest in major infrastructural developments in this facility. If they can repeat what they did at RAGE, if they can repeat what they did at UGMC, if they can repeat what they did at Tamale Teaching Hospital over here, I think this place will also be a better place for all of us.
Dr. Lord Mensah, the acting medical health director at the Whole Teaching Hospital, stresses in a Citi News interview that the safety of patients and the well-being of staff remain the hospital's top priority.
The hospital is really geared on pushing the safety issues of the patient and the emergency forward, and then at the end of the day you would want to have that satisfaction for the patient who has come for service delivery.
Authorities of the Whole Teaching Hospital say despite the congestion being faced at the hospital, the safety of their clients and staff remains their priority. Reporting for Citi News, I'm Desmond Selasiago.
Well, that's it for today's edition of the Citi Newsroom. Our website, citinewsroom.com, has more. Subscribe to CitiTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV.